All right, so here's interesting article from Zero Hedge by Jim Rickards. You know, the guy doing the speech, the seminar thing in Australia in November. You know James Rickards. Weird things are happening with gold. And he mentioned something. I think Silver Doctors has an article on this too. Kind of saying the same thing. Very interesting reason why Stephen Mnuchin may have just went to the gold repository in Fort Knox to see how much gold we actually got in case it has to be revalued due to the debt ceiling debacle. Which is something I never thought about, ever. And if that happens, and I'm not saying it will, I don't know, but he brings a damn good point up. But if that happens, and they have to revalue gold much higher, by the way, than the $42 or whatever the hell it's set at right now, you know, in whatever reasons they did that long ago, you know, should be set at the market price, right? No, it's, you know, written in stone at $42. But if they have to revalue it to $1,300 or whatever dollars to come up with funding because they can't get any kind of debt ceiling deal to go past President Trump, because maybe he's going to say, I want my wall, I want my tax cuts, all that stuff. This is one way they can get around it. Revalue the gold. Very interesting. But having said that, it's been a while since I've talked about the little bonus you can get at sdbullion.com. If you're a new customer there, you can get a 10-ounce silver bar at spot price. In the description box of my videos, all of them, the very bottom, it says sdbullion.com/jsnip4. You'll see the link. You can get a 10-ounce bar at spot price. All you pay for is shipping. That's no premium, which is incredible. Don't think I've forgotten about precious metals because I'm so focused on cryptos. You have to have precious metals. They have a massive history of keeping people, you know, safe financially in times of trouble. So, anyways, you want to capitalize on that, you can go there, get a little discount. sdbullion.com/jsnip4. So, anyways, he says last week featured two unusual stories on gold. One strange and the other truly weird. These stories explain why gold is not just money, but is the most politicized form of money. They show that while politicians publicly disparage gold, they quietly pay close attention to it. The first strange story, gold story that is, involves Germany. The Deutsche Bundesbank, which is the central bank of Germany, announced that it had completed the repatriation of gold to Frankfurt from foreign vaults. The German story is the completion of a process that began in 2013. That's when a Deutsche Bank, the Deutsche Bank, or Bundesbank, whatever. I keep saying Deutsche Bank. It's not Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank's a, you know, too big to fail bank. The Bundesbank, or the German central bank, we'll just say, first requested a return of some of the gold from vaults in Paris, London, and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Those gold transfers actually have now been completed, and completed earlier than expected, they say. This is a topic I first raised in the introduction of currency wars in 2011. I suggested that in extremis, the U.S. might freeze or confiscate foreign gold stored on U.S. soil using powers under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the Trading with the Enemy Act, or the USA Patriot Act. This then became a political issue in Europe, with agitation for repatriation in the Netherlands, Germany, and Austria. Europeans wanted to get gold out of the U.S. and safely back to their own national vaults. The German transfer was completed ahead of schedule. The original completion date was 2020. Remember, we were all like, it's going to take 7 years? Remember that? It's going to take 7 years to get your freaking gold back? Shouldn't you be able to make that happen in like a month? Less than that? Hey, put on these planes and get it over here. Remember, we were going to give them 50 tons a year, and then we gave them 5 tons, and then, we can't do any more than that right now. We're going to have to wait. Remember that whole story? I was covering that. Pretty interesting, right? But the German central bank does not actually want the gold back because there is no well-developed gold leasing market in Frankfurt and no experience leasing gold under German law. German gold in New York or London was available for lease under New York or UK law as part of global price manipulation schemes. Moving gold to Frankfurt reduces the floating supply available for leasing, making it more difficult to keep the manipulation going. Why did Germany do it? The driving force, both in 2013, which was the date of the announcement, and 2017, the date of completion, is that both years are election years in Germany. Angela Merkel's position as Chancellor of Germany is up for a vote on September 24th, 2017. She may need a coalition to stay in power, and there's a small nationalist party in Germany that agitates for gold repatriation. Merkel stage managed this gold repatriation with the Bundesbank both in 2013 and this week to appease that small nationalist party and keep them in the coalition. That's why the repatriation was completed 3 years early. She needs the votes now. My votes, and I need them now. The truly weird gold story comes from the United States. Secretary of the Treasury Steve Mnuchin and Secretary Majority Leader Mitch McConnell just paid a visit out of nowhere, right, to Fort Knox to see the U.S. gold supply. Mnuchin is only the third Treasury Secretary in history ever to visit Fort Knox, and this was the first official visit from Washington, D.C. since 1974. Which is interesting because 1971 we got taken off the gold standard. So just 3 years later, they have the final viewing of the Treasury Secretary, and that's it till now. The U.S. government likes to ignore gold and not draw attention to it. Official visits to Fort Knox give gold some monetary credence that central banks would prefer it does not have. Why an impromptu visit by Mnuchin and McConnell, and why now? The answer may lie in the fact that the Treasury is running out of cash and could be broke by September 29th if Congress does not increase the debt ceiling by then. But the Treasury could get $355 billion in cash from thin air without increasing the debt supply by revaluing U.S. gold to a market price. U.S. gold is currently officially valued at $42.22 per ounce on the Treasury's books versus a market price of $1,285 an ounce right now. Which I'm not sure when this was written, but hold on, I gotta blow my nose. Gold is $1,310, and silver is now safely over 17 at $1,740. But anyways, once the Treasury revalues the gold, the Treasury can issue new gold certificates to the Fed and demand newly printed money in the Treasury's account under the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. Since this money comes from gold revaluation, it does not increase the national debt, and no debt ceiling legislation is required. This would be a way around the debt ceiling if Congress cannot increase it in a timely way. This weird gold trick was actually done by the Eisenhower administration in 1953. Maybe Mnuchin and McConnell just wanted to make sure the gold was there before they revalue it and issue new certificates. Whatever the reason, this much official attention to gold is just one more psychological lift to the price, along with the Fed ease, scarce supply, and continued ferocious buying by Russia and China. So again, about that SD bullion deal. And I don't know that this is going to happen. The interesting thing is they've done it before. 1953 apparently. So if they do it now and they have to go from $42 to $1,300, what if by chance, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is a possibility. And you're going to want some metals before this happens, should it happen. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know it is, but it's a possibility. And you don't want to get caught, as I say, with your pants down. sdbullion.com/jsnip4. It's in my description box of this video at the very bottom. It always is. 10-ounce bar, silver, spot price. But what happens if they're fighting with Donald Trump? Debt ceiling's not being raised. We're starting to default on obligations. Oh my gosh, it's getting bad. The Treasury has to pull some tricks out of its trick box. Right? Or as the Federal Reserve say, our toolbox. We've got more tools in the toolbox. And they realize, okay, we've got 300-something billion to play with, but that's being eaten up rapidly. We need more. Well, we don't have more gold. What else could change the amount we could issue certificates on? A steep rise in the price of gold. So if $1,300 gold becomes double, let's say $2,600 gold, they essentially just gave them double the amount of borrowing, if you will, or based on these certificates, where these issue these new certificates, and they can kick that can. So that would be very interesting, right? All of a sudden, the manipulation ends. Silver explodes, gold explodes, because the United States needs to basically borrow against it, so to speak. And they don't want to borrow against it at $42. That's written in stone. They're going to have to change that. We're going to do fair market value on this baby. And then that ain't going to be enough. And we might see $5,000 gold. You know what I mean? We might, who knows? This is only in this kind of scenario. I never even knew this happened. I've never heard of this before in my life until now. Which is why I'm sharing this story with you. It is a possibility. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes, it is. It already happened in the Eisenhower administration, 1953. They've already done it. Remember, they always have these, government always passes laws and things way in advance of anything ever happening so that they can use it if they need to. See, for example, like he said, the I suggested in Extremist, the U.S. might freeze or confiscate foreign gold stored on U.S. soil using powers, again, who created these, under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. That's the act we created and passed into law. The Trading with the Enemy Act, we did that too. Or, as you may know more recently, the U.S. Patriot Act after 9/11. We have 3 ways from Sunday to hang on to other people's gold. OPP. You down with no, not OPP, OPG. You down with OPP? You down with OPD? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPD? Every last homie. Other people's gold. OPG, sorry, OPG, not OPD. OPG. Yeah, you know me. Other people's gold. We definitely down with it over here in this country. That's why it's like the movie Friday. Remember I always refer to that line? Yo, Debo. Pop's tripping, man. He want me to ask you for my bike back. But see, if you take it in the gold sense, like these other countries are doing, hey, yo, United States, Uncle Sam. Pop's tripping. Votes are coming up. They want me to ask you for our gold back. You know I wouldn't trip. What gold? The gold. The one we lent you. The one we've been paying you to hold for us for security purposes. The one you've been lending out to everybody. Oh, that gold. I didn't know you wanted it back, homie. Yeah, it's right over here. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like it's both of our gold. People don't need to know that. But for now, because votes are coming up, we'll keep it over my place. See, you could redo Friday just like that. Other people's gold. Take care.